Hey Flyer fans, checking in with Liana Sarkissian as we highlight an amazing volleyball season. Liana, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's go to Waco, Texas. This is a team that's been trying to break through to the Sweet 16. You finally get it done. What an amazing run that you had. And for you personally, match point, and the ball is coming your way. Sort of take us through that sequence and that pure joy and the celebration afterwards.
Yeah, we had a set point, and I hit it out of bounds earlier. And honestly, like, when we play, I think, like, we always focus on trying to stay present, staying in the moment, like, maximizing every single point. So even though it was, like, a tight fifth set, I think I felt very comfortable. Like, this is the moment we'd been waiting for. Like, this is what we've wanted. This is what every single team before us had wanted. So it was easy to kind of, like, find, like, peace and tranquility in, like, that tense situation. Like, we had two alum, or I think three alum in the stands, like, watching us. And to be honest, like, I wasn't thinking much. I was like, I'm gonna hit this ball, it's gonna go in the court, and we'll see what happens then. But it was actually, like, so surreal, probably, like, my favorite moment. Yeah, I just didn't know how to celebrate. Like, I think we all kind of, like, froze for a moment, and then we kind of huddled in.
Which was probably for the better, because like, if you're thinking about it, then there might have been another different result to that. But you get it done. You played so well in that match. It was 17 kills, you hit 500. When you're out there, do you feel like you're sort of, you got it going, or is it just sort of that next point mentality?
I think everyone can attest to this. There are days where you just feel like nothing can stop you. Like, volleyball is a very mental sport, full of momentum, and I think that day, Alyssa and I were connecting, and I don't think they've seen a slide like that before, and it was just working. Sometimes you don't have an answer for it. It just works.
It was working, and a season high in that kill column. I loved in sort of you describing the past and then what you guys were able to do here looking back to the 2024 season. You see it all around the program, and it's even on your jerseys, Flyer Legacy. And to be that group that punches that ticket to the Sweet 16, sort of describe that, because there's so many players from years ago to building that moment that I think smile and look at your group and celebrating. You also feel that out on the floor? Yeah,
I think part of why we were so successful last year was because we were so close, and every one of us was bought into the idea of, like, doing this not only for ourselves but for everyone before us. I think, like, the greatest examples for me last year, my freshman year, I had two amazing middles ahead of me, Amelia Moore, Lindsay Winter, and they were, like, the hardest working people that I, like, have ever played with. They always, like, put their head down, did the work, and they didn't always get the recognition that they deserve. So, like, being able to accomplish this for them, I think, is, like, the biggest joy.
Well, then you go to Nebraska.
Yeah.
And this incredible environment for volleyball. Sort of describe being on that stage, and also sort of another moment where you're right there in the middle, like, no pun intended, like Harper Murray. You're down 2 sets, but you guys got set point, and then that block that gives it to you, because I think that was kind of a testament and just what the match was, especially with the injury to Alyssa Miller.
I think our coaches did a really good job of simplifying the game down. It wasn't like, oh my God, we're playing Nebraska, like the number 2 or whatever, like, top 5 team in the country they are. So they put us at ease, and we focused a lot about surrendering the outcome and just, again, focusing on the moment. Like, we don't know if we're gonna win or lose, but we don't wanna leave any regrets out there. And like you said, Alyssa, she went down and she came right back the next set, like, and that just goes to show, like, the grit and heart that we play with every single day, leaving nothing on the table.
Yeah, and grit, I think that's, like, the perfect word, because across this team there were so many of those stories, and I feel like that only makes you closer and tighter. And from the celebration, Is that sort of part of it, of like going through those experiences together?
Yeah, we stay here over the summers. I mean, we wake up at 6 a.m. to lift. We run on the concrete stairs outside. And all of that like just brings us closer together, and it makes like the win more rewarding. Like we know we put everything in it. We might not have the same, like I think bells and whistles is what Lexi called it before, as other teams, but we have more heart and fight, and that's what's gonna put us over the edge.
Well, it was a season to remember without a doubt, but in sort of those hardships and those tough times, I do want to focus on the Atlantic 10 Championship, because you guys had just another incredible year where you're cruising, and then you play Loyola Chicago, and they get you on your home floor. Do you feel like that loss was big, and what was the end result in finally breaking through to the third round?
We talked about this a lot after. You know, it never is a good thing to lose. We don't like losing, but I think that's what we needed to give us more of an edge going into it. Like we always say, complacency comes to collect, and in that moment we were complacent with how we were playing. We thought it was going to be like the beginning of the conference where we swept them earlier on. But I do think it's what we needed to get past that round to give us that fighting edge, because I mean we lost our underdog mentality in that moment. So yeah. Was
there anything, and I'm sure you're so focused on just the game at hand and opening up the NCAA tournament against South Carolina, but do you sort of check out and see like, oh, Loyola Chicago also won their opening round game, and does that give you any confidence?
Yeah, we definitely were checking them out, but I think we were just saying like it goes to show that the A10 is getting better in volleyball, and like we were happy for them in that moment too, because yeah, like a mid-major took out a Power 4 school. Like it was a good win for them, and I think it just shows that people kind of overlook the A10.
Well, everybody was looking at the Flyers as without question sort of one of the big storylines, and sort of moving into the third round, and attention rightfully deserved. You kind of had a breakout season, and I know you might not say that, but in sort of watching, I know you highlighted the middle blockers that came before you, but in sort of getting that time to shine with sort of opportunities and more chances, does it really sort of come from that hard work and that preparation of people that have sort of like been there, and was it comfortable in sort of the, I don't want to say new role that you found yourself in, but more of like a spotlight?
I don't know about spotlight, but I think like having them before me, like it truly has shaped like who I am as a person, and like what they have told me, I try to instill upon other people. And I think when Amelia and Lindsay left, it was hard for all the middles, because I had 2 years with them, but I knew that there really wasn't going to be anyone else, so I kind of needed to be that middle, I guess. So I don't know if it was hard. I just knew it needed to be done, and I tried my best to do it.
Well, there was no hesitation. I mean, from the start of the year, you came in flying, and you sort of continued that throughout the whole season. At times, you watch this group, and you especially, you play with a big smile, and it seems like everybody's having fun. Is it as much fun as it looks? And sort of you being out there playing it?
Yeah, I think I've always like loved volleyball, and I love playing with people that I love, and everyone is so close that like even if I don't get the kill and I hold the block, like I think that's like the best thing in the world. Like Lexi has a one-on-one, or like people don't know where they're going. Like volleyball is a mental game, and I think being able to mess with the other team with like as a group, it's just very fun.
Yeah, it's the success of others.
Yes.
And I thought it was telling before, you know, we got going here in this interview. You highlighted your roommate on the trip.
Brooke Smith.
Brooke Smith, she balled out.
She had an incredible season.
Against Baylor. She was injured.
Yes, so...
And you felt bad about this.
Yeah, so Brooke Smith and I were roommates the last two trips. So when we went to Baylor and we went to Nebraska. But before the Baylor game, our second match, We were practicing early in the morning, and she rolled her ankle on my foot. I don't know what had happened, but it was bad, and she went down, but she immediately got back up and she's like, no, I'm playing, like I'm gonna push through it. So we had like 6 or 7 hours to get ready. We were in the room and I was like, whatever you need, I'll go get you ice, like don't move your ankle. And you know, our staff had helped her and like supported her, and at one point she was like, she wanted to play, like you could tell she was hungry for it, but again, she said, if I'm not what's best for the team, then you can pull me. And I think that just goes to show like the heart and like the selflessness that not only Brooke Smith plays with, but like the whole team.
Well, it was on display and playing so well,
Yes.
and then beating Baylor, and then like mentioned, you know, moving on. Through that entire journey, is there one moment in particular that's sort of your favorite?
I think the mini dog pile I think I have two actually. The mini dog pile at Baylor was probably like one of my favorite moments. Like I don't think I'll ever be able to feel that ever again. Like it was just truly incredible and special. And then the second one was at Nebraska. We were talking about this earlier. It was probably the longest play that I've ever been in. But in the middle of it, like my legs were burning, but I was still like smiling through it, like at the net, through the net, staring at these girls, because this is what we had been working for so long. We're playing the best team in the country, and we have however many fans there, and that's all you could ask for is to play the best volleyball in front of an amazing crowd.
Kind of comes full circle.
Yeah.
Right? Those workouts do make a difference. All right, so we highlight a sensational year, but now you're back in the gym.
Yeah.
And for folks out there, they're going to be looking at a little bit of a different team, but how has work been getting back after it?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of new faces, younger faces, and it's going to look different. Every team is different. Every year is different. But I mean, everyone in that gym truly loves to play volleyball, and I think that's the biggest thing. Playing with heart. I mean, heart beats talent any day. So.
Well, we appreciate you giving us a few minutes. Like stated before, Liana, an incredible run, historic season, and we look forward to seeing what you have in store for 2025.
Thank you so much.